Yeah, and it is another defeat for Spurs. They were handed their third straight defeat in this clash. This is how it looks in the standings. Villa moving to fourth above them in the Premier League table. But just a look at those last three defeats for them, going back to that game against Chelsea, which was obviously a bit of a memorable one. But you wonder if Spurs are running out of steam, particularly with the injury list piling up as well. And that is Villa leapfrogging them there. They are in fourth spot with that result. Let's hear what Ange Postecoglou had to say about it afterwards, though, because it seems he couldn't be happier with his side's performance.
The outcome is obviously disappointing, for our fans, and particularly disappointing for our players, because I just thought the players were out there today did a fantastic job in playing the football we want to play, and on any other day it's probably a game we win comfortably, but it's fine margins in football sometimes, but not happy with the defeat, but as a manager, when you put a team out there, what you're looking for is some real belief and intent in the team we want to be, and I saw that in loads today.
So Nedum Onuoha joining us now. So Ange Postecoglou there doesn't seem too down about his side's performance, and that as well, Nedum, seems to be the feeling among the Spurs fans right now. But then the big question really is, with those injuries and three straight defeats now, are they running out of steam?
No, I don't think they are, to be honest. And I think it's interesting that Postecoglou said what he said, because I think sometimes we are very quick to look at the result and work backwards from there. But realistically, when you ask the manager, how does he feel about the performance? Like, he's the person who understands the most what he wants to see from his side. And I think from them, they did what he wanted them to do. I think at home, they took the lead. There were a couple of moments where there were some slight offsides where goals ended up being disallowed. But you look at it, they've had the better of the chances. And they are disappointed to lose the game, and I think he's acutely aware of that fact. But it's still played in the Spurs way. I think when you looked at their team at the start of the game, there were a few questions asked saying, maybe it's too attacking. But for them, they thought the best way to do it is to keep the ball and stop Aston Villa from attacking. And I thought in that first half, they were really good. But I think the timing of that Pau Torres goal, that changed the momentum a little bit. Maybe that gave Villa a bit more belief. And then the changes that came at half-time with Bailey coming on and Tielemans made a big difference for Villa. But I think on a different day, Spurs would have probably scored a few more goals and probably won that game. And I think they showed enough to show that they're a good side. And these three defeats in a row, they have had imperfections, but I don't think this was the worst game in that three-game run, in my opinion. Do
you agree, Shaka?
I do. And listen, I understand Ange Postecoglou and being happy with his team, and understandably. I think despite the injuries that he had coming into this game, despite the changes that he had to make at halftime, which you could speak about, you saw exactly how he wants his team to play. And I think that serves them better in the long term than maybe it does on the day. To that point, you look at two who I thought fairly evenly matched teams. Spurs had Heung-min Son had 3 goals disallowed for offside, all correct decisions. Emi Martinez was outstanding yet again. But then you look at one, you concede right before halftime, and then Bentancur and Gales had to come off, and you bring on Højbjerg and Skip. Other side of that same coin, Unai Emery is able to bring on Tielemans and Bailey. And I think that spoke volumes to the difference in the teams and who they can call on to change the game. So if I'm Ange Postecoglou, of course, I'm very disappointed to be losing this game, especially in the manner that you did. 3 in a row, but you look back on those 3, again, down to 9 men against Chelsea. You concede a whole heap of goals later on. You concede, it was 2 late goals against Wolves. Mm-hmm. And then this one, which just felt like a little bit like a gut punch when you see the game in its entirety. So you're happy with the way things are progressing, disappointed with the result, disappointed with the run, but I think there's a lot of positives still to take.
I'm a glass half full sort of guy.
I'm waiting for it. I know, I'm like,
you tell me every day.
What are we going to get?
Glass half full. And I understand where you and Nedum are coming from, and in the manner in which you frame this as a positive for Spurs. That, look, they did create chances. They were dynamic in the attack. They move well with the ball, and it's exciting to watch Spurs play, even for a neutral. You watch this team play, and you know what? They're entertaining. But there's another side to this. And while I understand that Emi Martinez can have a great game, or they hit the post, or Kulusevski missed chances, or Heung-min Son is called offside 3 times, or whatever the case may be, you're still up in the game. You're still winning the game. And I know and I appreciate the Spurs way of playing and Ange ball and whatever we want to call it. But at some point, you got to defend. And at some point, you have to stop conceding goals. And while we can look as to why they're conceding those goals, and we can excuse that because of their lack of depth or the players that they don't have available, this, that, or the other, I just think this is a team that it was designed in the manner in which they play. It was designed to, yes, to be entertaining, to be attacking, to go and score goals, but you also leave yourself exposed. And what we were saying earlier in the season, is this sustainable? Well, now we see that it is not sustainable. It's not sustainable because when you're not scoring those goals, and now you get in a back and forth with another team that has the quality to hurt you in the attack, as Aston Villa did today, well, now you end up losing these matches. And that's where I kind of calm down on this sort of Ange ball and Spurs way to play and all of this. You have to be able to adjust in game and understand that, look, it's not happening for us offensively. We're not finding the back of the net. We haven't made one goal. We haven't turned that into 2, 3, and 4 and put this game away. And so, hey, at the end of the first half, we need to see it out to halftime. We cannot allow a set-piece goal. And these are the things that I don't think are excusable. If indeed you're serious about contending for something important this season, these are the sort of games that you cannot lose.
I suppose we need to talk about Aston Villa right now as well, Nedum, and what they're doing.
Yeah, I think they've been very, very good. I think when you saw that first game of the season where they lost quite convincingly to Newcastle, I think the scoreline was high, but some people said, well, there were positives in the performance. And then from there, they went on a great run. I think it's 13 home wins in a row that they managed to get. And I think in the last year since Emery's been there, I think they've accrued 77 points. It's very, very positive. And as you look at the way that the team play, it's a nice attacking style of football. They want to try and control possession. You see players within the side that are very comfortable. You see Watkins in the form of his life. You're seeing him be more efficient. You're seeing him step up and score big goals in big moments and not lacking belief. Even when the backs are against the wall, you know that they've got more in there. And as we saw today with the manager that isn't shy to make changes at half-time within a game, to bring on Tielemans, to bring on Bailey. Those are two big calls. Cash has been very good for them for a long time this season. Same for Diaby. But he knew that was the right thing to do. And the team went out in that second half and made a better account of themselves. And now, you know, it's a third of the way through the season. And was it the 2 points, 3 points off top of the table? And it makes sense because they're one of the best sides in the league. They look very comfortable. And you know there's more to come from them as well. So fair play to them. And that's a very, very big away win for them as well.
Credit to Unai Emery as well, Ali Moreno.
Yeah, and again, I just mentioned the lack of in-game adjustment from Spurs and recognizing what the game is calling for. Unai Emery, from even going back, I'm not even going to talk about his time in Arsenal, his time in Sevilla, this is a guy that knows how to win games with those in-game adjustments and decisions. And look, he sees the opportunity in this match on a counter. We can hurt Spurs. Yes, we're hanging on a little bit defensively, but the easier thing to be done here and the most obvious thing would be, well, you know, we're just going to absorb pressure. We're just going to add numbers to get behind the ball. Instead, you put in players that give you an outlet in the attack, that give you purpose, that give you a threat going forward. And that, I think, sends a message to your players. We're not just here to defend. Like, they're pushing us back because they're playing well. They're pushing us back because they have quality, but we have quality ourselves. And when we get the opportunity to do so, let's get forward. That, I think, is a decision that the players would appreciate and responded with what I thought was a really good win for them. And one that they would look at and say, yeah, we got fortunate at some point, but when it came to winning time, we make the plays. Spurs didn't.